Okay. Gotta start getting these magnets in, but I did start doing some like little panel shading last night and some grays and blacks just to have something under all the washes and everything under there, and then we might have to, bring some back out a little bit. But you see that a lot on the pull the picture. You do see that a lot on here, like dark panels in areas. So I kind of did that, and then did a little bit of this as well. But well, I figured I'd hit it a little more after. But you can see how those panels, the washes, are kind of over top of it. So I just gave them a hint, just with some pastels. I just got this little generic art pastel that I used, and just took a little black and gray, and just put it on some of the squares. And then down here, I hit some areas and some runs areas there. I need to hit an area here on that side. And just to get those underneath. So when we do all the washes and all the different browns and whites and grays and then all the orange blotching that goes on it and the white blotching that goes on in areas, that's all on top. So then I think as far as like a main wash, I'll probably use, I got some good ones here. Like here's Oily Earth, which is a good for brown and red kind of things. Plus then we have this Rusty Red from Vallejo, which we can add in areas, or maybe even I might even put in airbrush and spray. Well, this looks like it's been, well, I think I've been using this a lot on this ship, but there's a lot of material down there. I might have to throw a little more alcohol. What do they use to thin it out? I wonder. Just water? Doesn't really say. But I think we can bring more of that out. But that's another nice brown wash. And then there's my blacks. I think this is the original black that's still new. And then this other bottle, I kind of mixed up a lighter, my own. Yeah, I put a T on the top. This is just basically um, black craft acrylic and alcohol. We got some of those, but I think we'll fall in more of the browns. I do have this yellow wash too, which we could always put in some areas. It's like a greenish yellow. It's a sickly. I always use it for like some of their engine parts leaking some type of nasty toxic fluid. And Star Wars they do love to throw a yellow in there. What we're doing is I want to get this all finalized inside here too, but it'd be nice to get these lids from falling off. The only thing we got to do here is actually glue this down, which I do have the little rails like I did here for this to sit on. So once we do that and I get the battery, I can actually attach the battery power, the positive here, and then throw its negatives to that, and then we're good. I might just go in here and with some of that black tape and just organize stuff so it don't move and shift around. So what I did with like Ahsoka's, which I got to do with her top piece too, but I did it for. Oh no, I did it for the gate on here. Is I just used two magnets because the lid of this ramp is kind of thin, and I didn't really want to drill into it too much, so I just used these nails here to have this really big flat head. And on the gate, I just cut the actual stem off and just made it fit flush, and then put the magnets actually kind of fit in there. So what I'm doing is drilling a hole so this will fit that nail down in, and then we'll widen it a little bit. I think I have that this 1/4 inch was giving us, once we have that center for the stem, was giving us the ability to recess the head down in so it fits flush so that the lid will fit tight. And then we'll just drill a magnet on the underside of this lid, and I think I'm gonna try to see if I can get away with two, just a magnet here and a magnet here. This thing isn't gonna be flipping you up and down so much. We just need them to not, like when people do that, it doesn't do that. Or if you want to lift it up. So I think two magnets, because this is holding pretty strong with two there. But it looks like, or unless I cut some of this stem off, it looks like I have some supports right there. I could almost do it by hand because it doesn't need much, and we don't want to drill too much because we'll drill through this top roof, and then the head of the nail will drop straight down through. So we just kind of gotta make it sit flush. So we don't need to do a lot. Kind of keep going until it covers that head. Sometimes wobbling like this gets us enough. The tighter we get that, the tighter that ceiling will look. I think that's going to work. But I have heavy cutters. That. There we go. I like that. Let's see how that. Beautiful. And we'll just super glue that down. Now we want to do the same with the other corner here, which is going to be right about there. Take a pencil, because then I can always see it. I can erase pencil. See, there's. Not that I couldn't see this bump out. All right, try to hit in the center here. Come in a little bit. We can come in quite a bit because the more it's away from that edge, the better. And I'm just using my little hand drill. There we go. Find another nail. I don't know if that one will take a whole nail without me cutting it. I'll have to cut just the tip off. I said it don't need much. Just the cone shape of this bit is giving it the recess part. I'm just wobbling it to make it wider. And then since we drilled that center hole, it's keeping me from crawling all over the place. Let's see how this sits down. Is it obstructing it anyway? No, because I can slide that. It's not even hitting. Beautiful. I might just one more time. I think we're coming off a corner of an infill there. Now, what would be ideal is a little bit of putty. Like even the silly putty. Put it right on there, and I wonder if that would work. Hopefully I can do this and it'll just give me relatively the area. I've never done this before. I was gonna stick to the lid. Hey, look at that. And then I actually can see the imprint of the nail head. That worked great. I might found another use for this silly putty. You know, just dollar store silly putty, which works great for sticking little figures on so you can paint them. So what we should do is drill a center hole, and I really should use a smaller bit. Yeah, I didn't even think about it. It's going to make an imprint like silly putty always kind of did as a kid. It made an imprint of the nail so I can see the center, you know, roughly. Get my center mark going. Pop that off. There we go. I'll do the same here. Go too crazy and too deep. That should do it because they're not thick. I'm wondering if I should get some putty down there. Spot putty always reminds me of a kid because we were always hanging out in our friend's garage where they were always doing body work. But always, it's kind of like the smell of the old tube styrene cement. That really reminds me of BDK because every model back then, that's all you really had. Tube glue. But you know what? It's still great, especially if you're drilling something that needs strength. You know, like a neck of a starship, and Enterprise. You know, with a heavy saucer on it. Where's my? This is where these come in handy because they're not metallic on the tips. Bet you we can just stick them down in there and they'll harden right into it. These tweezers are really made for a lot of hot stuff too because I think it's like a ceramic, and then you can buy new tips or you can get ones that curve or whatever you want. So that was really neat. Oh, yep, gotta remember, can't do that. Get a little putty around it. I think what we'll do is we'll just sand it away. Okay, I just went ahead and did all that. I got these other two in and glued in. These are all glued down. Um, got those puttied because I drilled that a little too big. So I puttied and then did some super glue, and I think they're staying in there now. Yeah. Well, now we can actually, and that's it. And actually, it gives me room to kind of still move them like that, which is good, but it still's got a good grip upwards. And did it pull that one out? It did. I was messing around a little bit too much. All right. Yeah, because the putty didn't cure quite yet in the bottom. That's all right. There's still plenty of soft putty to close it back up. But these I drilled a little nicer, so I was able to super glue them. And then since this is such a shallow piece, there's enough plastic there to hit. But let's test these. Is that working? Yeah. I mean, like I said, I could always put two more if I want them really strong, but I don't really want them strong. I just want them so that the lids won't keep falling off. And I think once you get both of them on there, it's going to kind of pinch them. And I'm not going to glue this one down yet. I did glue this just in. I glued the bars that hold it so I can press down and it won't keep going down and crushing the bulbs. And glued this actual piece in, and then we should be able to. And I did it this way because I think this way now I can actually get behind this and pull that out. I want to see if I have this here. I gotta get my thumb out of the way. Oh, I'll have just enough room that I can do that, tilt back, and then I can get to the batteries. So that works perfect. And then be able to tilt it in. Yeah, that'll work. Oh yeah, that's perfect. That's all it needs. Just to keep them, yet I still can adjust them side to side to get them to look correct. I think we have a little bow out here in the center, which actually I could probably just take my hair dryer and just warm up a little bit carefully and then press that back in. But yeah, I can feel it grab, and that's perfect. And they're working really good on the lift gate too. Well, sweet. Well, I'm gonna start gathering up all the different washes and colors that we need for this outside. Like I said, I did do some of the shading on both sides, even a little bit on the front. It's hard to move this thing around and get it in the camera, but all right, we'll come back and we'll be starting to do some washes. I know I'm going to use like this wood smoke will work good, and all that. We'll get them together, and I think what we're going to do is a lot of them we're just going to spray, and I might even just hit spots with spraying and then pull, because you can see a lot of runny runs. And of course this light's too bright, so it's going to make this. But there's a lot of, if you look at this one reference picture from Lauren Pearson's Sculpting Galaxy, and you can find this online too. It's all over online. I don't know if I can do that. But a lot of these here are like runs. It almost looks like they just dabbed the brush and let it run down. So, but back here in the back, I think we'll use some of that woody smoke or smoky wood or whatever back here to give that effect, and just lightly hit it with the airbrush. And like I said, being that these are cracked acrylics, you know, when you want to paint things really dark, you got to do quite a few coats. That's the downfall of them. But the nice thing about them is they're inexpensive. You get a lot of colors, and if you want to mix your own colors, you don't really worry about it if the color doesn't come out right and you got to throw it away. Okay, been adding a lot of airbrushing. We did a wash, which was this brown wash from Vallejo. Has a lot of browns and reds in it. And just did it overall all over the place to kind of pull out, because it had a lighter brown, so it kind of pull out some of that rusty brown, base color. Then I went over and took some of the, what is this, Anita's? Yeah, Anita's woody smoke or woodsy smoke, and thinned that really out like and sprayed and hit some areas like up on here, on the sides. You see some highlighted areas. That's all the wood, and hit back here quite heavily because they are quite that gray woodsy smoke kind of look back here. I was also watching like Lou from Aztec Dummy and Spruverse on their wonderful Randy Cooper builds, and I never really thought about it. That gentleman from Spruverse said that this orange stripe was probably what's left of paint instead of more of a rust, and it kind of follows this line here and stops. And you notice that it doesn't go below. Even if it's heavy down here, it stops right at that seam. And then down here you have the white blotches because this probably was white down here. So that makes a lot more sense of what's going on here. And back here, who knows, this might have been all the white as well. And it just had a orange stripe that went around this top rim from this area here all the way around to here. But I've seen these that I hit to give some, I shake this, I don't remember. I'm going to use some of the Tamiya panel liner to fill in these little, we'll call them vents or exhausts or something. That might be from the furnaces downstairs, who knows. But I'll give those centers a little more dark. It's hard to see. That could be kind of messy and hit all over the place on that, really. It gives it a little different look than the airbrush kind of vibe. And it don't matter if I drip in anywhere because they'll just look like grease drops. Might actually even do that. Darken those in. A little more realism. We'll darken those too. We should add some depths to these. At least maybe the big ones. Liking how that looks. Don't know what those are, but we'll put little splotches on them. Alright. Where we're going. Let's see what we can do in this engine area. Okay, that's better. Try a little drop right there. Like that. Have some type of leak going on. Hard to see what's going on there. We want to add a little more just to force them to run a little. There we go. Alright, in here, where would we want stuff at these pipe connections? Yeah, that's definitely tying things in. Oh, I think these big pipes down here could have a little spillage. Down here too. to dirty those up. They look a little too clean. So when I hit a wash, I think that'll tone things back. But I'm liking that. All right. Well, I'm happy with that. I don't think there's any things out here that I need to do. I kind of like what's going on there. Maybe in the very back areas. Copy that over here. All right, so I'm gonna let some of that sit and cure. That way, it gives me a better idea of what's actually going on here. So I got some a tape line here, so that way I can keep that nice crisp edge. Which I was always wondering why it's such a crisp edge on there. You see, I'm trying to hold this book. It's a heavy book. You see these edges, it's very crisp, especially where the white and the orange meet. So it makes sense that it was an actual paint job. So I got a little scrap piece of tape here that I'll dab. And I'm using, I'm trying this old scrap piece of Scotch-Brite. And it's working good because it gives me really fine hairs. And especially at this scale, that'll work great. So as we just kind of go and have fun. I'm just dabbing it right in there. And then I'm dabbing on here. So you get a lot of the excess off. And then that gives you a better. Seems like a lot of it gets hit up along the edges. And sometimes I might actually have to get my finger in there and push. Yeah, I'm liking that. It's allowing a lot of dark spots still in between, which is great. It's not just giving me a big orange blob. I'm kind of just doing, and actually, I can just keep dabbing on what excess I put on the table here. We get a good chunk of stuff going on down here. We can take liberties because, like I said, this is not trying to be the exact one. And it seems like a lot of it follows the seams. So you kind of want to do a little bit of the following of the seams. Anything else going on? There's quite a clear spot. But like I said, when it gets dry, I can do a little light touch, pads of orange, and it seems to be working pretty good. I think what we got on our tape is starting to dry. Yeah, I'm liking how this is working. I might start using old scraps of Scotch-Brite more often. This is definitely the fun part. Yeah, we can seal this one, I think. Just give ourselves just a little protection here. Doesn't have to be special. Is there a lot down in that corner? No, no. So I don't know how much I'm going to do. If I do, let's hit it now. I know looks like there's some in this corner. I think we should pull that corner in. And they show a good blotch here. A good blotch. I want a good. There we go. And one somewhere over here. And anywhere else, it's just light. And then we can get heavy under the windows. Let's see. There we go. About to want to get heavy, and it looks like it's heavy, and then something goes across like that. And you need a good heavy color. As it dries, it kind of settles in. And we got little highlights. Well, yeah, that wouldn't have white. It's all going to be down here, and it gets all white. But it doesn't seem like it goes down to this bottom area here. It's mainly this. Right to there, and then not even on the gate, just that. And then this stays like that. I think there's a couple little. I mean, there it almost looks like there's a thumbprint on the. I don't know if I can get it to show. There it looks like a thumbprint. Like they had a little, and they tried to mix it in, but most of the white is all right here. Even where these doors start, it kind of goes away. It really stays like here and a little bit down here, and then really on that seam comes down a little bit to here. I think we'll pull some more down in here just to, I don't know about in these door areas. I think we'll try to skip that too. I think I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah. Yep. And the cracked acrylics kind of, you'll get where you can still see the undercoat but you want to have some of the real shiny ones. And like I said, I'm going to do a wash all over this again, and then we'll come back and just maybe with a brush just lightly hit again to freshen up some spots. But I like the washes to tone things down because everything got dirty at the same time, really. Starting off with the pastels worked great. It stuck really well to the reddish brown Rust-Oleum as our base, and then doing the pastels really made these panels look like faded, stained panels. And then I did some in a gray like that pastel, and there's a couple others in a gray pastel. So you get that difference in contrast. So that worked really good. And then doing a wash, that brown wash over everything, then and even using the pastels to make my streaking stains, it worked really good. And once it gets a flat clear, I think it'll really tie in. There we go. Because it's heavy on this side, it just didn't look right. That on the other side, because it's heavy there. Right, if it was all sudden. All right, so we could start doing this other side. That way, and this works good. It gives you a test, and it gets rid of all the excess. And it's so awesome that I know now why this is orange on top. I was like, that's an abrupt rust. But it would make sense. This was an orange stripe. So now it's almost like I wouldn't mind building one of these brand new. Brand new, but used. Star Wars used dirty washes. But with minor chips, it'd be neat to actually do. I don't know if there's a concept drawing of what these really looked like before they became big rust buckets. Before they came to Jawas. When they were still mining carts, mining vehicles. It'd be neat. Or that's something, if not, that makes, in some ways, makes it even more fun. We already have a concept that this is orange all the way across here, and this is white, so we can come up with our own idea for the rest of it. Since we're not seeing any other colors here, I would say it's just all probably white. The entire ship with this orange stripe. I don't know if we do the top all white or you do this whole upper part orange. That would be kind of neat. But let's continue. And this one side, I can I'm just going for it. My own, kind of remember what we did over there and match it because things are probably going to do the same. Hold that. It's nice just to look off that camera there. What's usually to give me a good idea of what I'm doing here. Then you can just go and just give light taps. I think I'm gonna call that good. If we need to touch up anything, we will. I think I'm gonna get this because I know I don't see it really much on the other one, but I think it looks better. I think it looks better if we actually do hit that little thing with a little bit of something. So I was trying to hit these. It looks like a dry brush. Yeah, I like that better. I like that better. All right, let's pull this off. Let's see how it looks in contrast. I could save this because we can use this to do the white. Because we'll have to mask on the top because we do, here we got some room. We do, there's some where the white's right up on the orange spots. So we'll let this dry and come back and then we'll start tapping on some of the white. Well, here she is. I'm sorry I went past doing the white. Just kind of got excited and kept going. But did the same thing as with the orange. I laid the tape up on this and was able to dab, you know, especially with these top ones because I don't want any cross, any white up here or any orange down there. And it came out good. I'm very happy with it. Up top looks good. I did some oil, you know, grease with the black panel liner up there. And then once I hit everything, and I went through everything with that brown wash. It's just called brown. But I put a little squirt of the rest in it too, just to kind of give it, bring it into that more red zone. And once I did all the orange and the white, I over everything to kind of blend everything in. And yeah, some areas, you know, brought the white down to like a dirty white, which is great because it was really white. But I guess the whole thing is this was like white down here and this was an orange stripe that went all the way around the top half. Who knows what's going on in the back because it doesn't have the white or the orange back here. It's just kind of that lighter grays, or what I used as a woodsy, as a smoky wood. But yeah, it's looking good. The back, here's the back half. All this stuff up here is looking good. Like I said, I knew that silver would tone down, but when you look at it, you see shiny areas, so that worked out perfect. Did some of the black around here, did the airbrushed a little bit around there. I might do a little bit of this smoky wood back here because it looks a little light on the smoky wood. Maybe get a stripe in here. Or I got some pastel sand that I might, you know, these tracks throwing stuff up. Maybe I'll do that and that'll lighten it up a little bit here. Just to give it a little more something. I have it where it looks like darkness from up here is coming down, but I would like something a little more there. And here's the show side. This will be the side that's mostly showed. You know, I made it a little darker up in the upper part of tracks and lighter down here. I might hit some little sand pastel from Tamiya. Pastels on those areas. And like I said, in the back. And probably somewhere inside the drawbridge too. Or this cargo ramp. And even that came out good. Did the washes on there. I might take a little bit of the silver pastel and scratch it up so it looks like it's getting down to shiny metal in some spots. But I am happy with it, so we can start putting some, let's see, can we still get in here? Yeah. And boy, you can see the difference. Just flipping this around from the colors we added. But I think we should get some, Jawas and some droids up here. We got Chopper, who I got to take off his supports yet. Chopper, he's going to go in there. And then we got a mouse droid, which I got to take him off his supports. I go in there and I got 4 different Jawas. But these three guys here, I got ones with their arms up, so they'll be kind of like yelling at somebody down on the ground. So I'm going to have them out at the doors, out at these areas like that. I didn't really want to do that until we were done painting, because when I painted the main hall, I closed that off, so main hall color wouldn't get in here. These washes and stuff, I didn't care if they kind of oozed in there a little bit. And I didn't like directly blast in there, but I didn't care if it got a little bit in there. Because I wanted it to be dirty, and I want to make sure I had one with a gun. So he's got a gun in his hand. So I'll have him somewhere like that. For this side, you just see a droid and a Jawa walking away. So this one, I'll just have the guy standing there with his arm up. So let's see what's going on in here. Let's get these guys going. These droids off from there. Oh, you know what? Let's get the side compartment going. So this one, I'm thinking what? Maybe I'll bring the camera down a little bit. You need any touch-ups? Oh. There we go. Now, let's try some tweezers. Preferably the ones... I never grab these right away. I think what we'll do is we'll try this. Should be able to press on the bottom and get a little glue. Now that it did. That's perfect. Maybe a little bit too much. Yeah, the problem is always pushing them down. There we go. Now we got one yelling out that window, or a door. Alright, how do we want you? I want to see your gun, so you're going to have to be walking like that. Or just showing yourself like that, that would work. That would work just like that, and then you can... kind of be like that. Because this is where the ladder is. Let me go grab that. Yeah, because I got 3 Jawas already glued onto the ladder here. And he's got a gun as well, so that's perfect. And they're going to be right there. Which is awesome. So as you can see, they're going to be here. I got to hit this with a little more of a wash too, to bring it into the tones of this. She's a little more in the brown. That I can just brush on. So I'm liking that staging for those other guys. So let's get them glued in. And him I could probably have turned just a hair more, like like that. Yeah. All right. So we like what you're doing. Now it's giving me a ton of glue. Earlier today when I was using it, it wouldn't give me any glue. The hardest thing is to be able to press down without them wanting to knock over. Alright, I think he's there. Grab your head and you're going to go exactly like that. Sweet. Alright, those guys are in. Now we just got to do everybody up in the control area. Make sure we get these guys out of the way, that they get crushed. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where I want them. I mean, it can go way back in here too. You can get pretty far back in there. And there is lights here, so you won't be in the dark either. I think I have a Jawa back here. I think I put Chopper somewhere here. Takes me a while to figure out how I want things staged. And I really think I could use some more Jawas. I don't know if I have any more printed. No. Put you there. I have two driving. Maybe what I do is have this one over here, and it's got, that one's, Chopper's got his attention. This mouse droid's just doing its own thing. And then we'll put him there. So that's what we'll do. Alright. Got a plan. Got this little window right here, and the marking goes on just a little bit after that window, and then the looks like the last one here goes on this last one. Let's see, I gotta grab my tweezers out of here, and I've got some water. I've had these decals soaking for a few minutes, just using my pump spray bottle, and I've got the pennant over here. Let's go ahead and lay down the pennant first, I guess. A little water on there. That works. You're not glued yet. You want a little bit of a gap between the forward edge of the pennant there and this little drill work. You can see on the up close pictures of the big ship. That's how it should look. And then for your straight line, you basically want to kind of like have an even space between this row of windows and this row right here for this tail end part of the pennant. That kind of helps line it up. There we go. Straight. Now, if we can get Chopper free of his wrinkles in it, and I just take a paper towel, supports here, and start kind of all around it. Just don't take any chances. I go ahead and seal all this up before I work with these water slide decals. So next, we're going to put down these little markings. There we go. Here. Not the direction I wanted them going, but that works. Draft markings, like on kind of the same thing as on a regular ship. So you start off here. Okay, so we've got Better grab his head because of the way I gotta come in there.
It's like right up, tucked up close to the bottom edge of that pylon and about that far behind it. I nailed that one too, you guys. I'm impressing myself here.
There, I think he's in there pretty good. Be able to see him through the windows. Where's my last guy?
Okay, the last one goes just behind our blinking.
Where'd he go? There's he up here. Yeah, he's up here.
Ion pod opening there, so put that one on. That one I missed a little bit, but that's okay. We'll straighten it right up here.
I'm gonna put him so far back.
Yep. Whenever they get stubborn on you guys, don't fight it.
But that super glue's grabbing right away, so that's good. There we go. And I think I might print a few more. Like I'd like at least 2 or 3 more. Maybe another guy up by the main controls. Maybe another guy at these front controls, and another guy over there. So 1, 2, 3, at least 3. Maybe 4th, another guy hanging out over here. But they're in there. Alright, I think I'm going to call it a night. I was just at a birthday party, so I was out. And very happy with this weekend. She is all painted. All we have to do is attach that battery, I think. But yeah, I think this is the first thing I ever printed. And then I printed the other stuff afterwards. As far as the vehicle or ship, it is. You know, something of this size. And then we did the Y-Wing and the E-Wing. But those are quick and easy builds. Yeah, I think this was the first thing I printed, so. And I'm very happy with it. You know, might not be the most canon Sandcrawler out there. Like I said, GAN bodies. This is, but it's still nice, and I like the inside in here. But I probably will build the GAN bodies for the true canon New Hope one. So we'll have to go back and get all the droids from the New Hope, which I do have in here. But I know it's definitely more canon, especially when it comes with the hydraulics here. It's supposed to be a double, and then the shiny part of the piston is down here. This is kind of reverse. But, yeah, I think that's it. Goodness. Oh, and a complete flat coat across the whole thing. But we'll be back and we'll do a, like I said, we just got to do a clear on here and then just attach this battery wire. Well, alright, I got the battery attached. Which I just didn't film because it was just a simple attaching the negative here, and then I ran a shrink tube on it. So that was simple, and then the positive is now glued to this power switch. And I have batteries in there. So that's the main power on. Oh, we got to turn the battery compartment actually has a switch on too. Now let's see what turns on. Well, we can close this part up. That's the nice thing about the switches. There we go. Kind of see them a little better now. So I think here starts with interior lights. Let's start with exterior lights. You know what? Let's turn the light down. We actually might have to step you back just to see some things that are going on here. I should even spin you around. So you'd be able to see the headlights come on. All right, so now everything's reversed. So, yep. So this should be our down lights. The battery's working good. Let's see how long it stays charged for. This should be our headlights. Down light and the headlights are on the far side. Okay. And then we got cockpit lights. So let's actually open that. Like I said, the computers and consoles come on right away. I think as soon as you turn, yeah. So this all the consoles come on. The ship kind of wakes up when you first turn the power switch on. So the consoles will light up, and then back inside here, all the furnaces and everything should be turned on. Make sure that's going. Yep. So the furnaces are on and stuff like that. And then we can leave that kind of open. And then this will turn interior lights up in the cockpit area. And then this will turn. You can see the lights up in here, but it's definitely turned on. All the lights down there. Okay. All right, so we're good. Battery is working. Turn everything on. And it is running everything fine. Like I said, there's not a huge draw. Maybe we got, well, I was saying 300 milliamps from my meter, my DC power. It'll tell you how much it's drawing. It was only at 300 milliamps, which isn't bad. We should be good. We had to do 9 because of there's some strip lighting. One here shining up for the console here, and then we got strip lighting for the work lights on both sides. And I think I ran one back here to light all the display lights. Besides the furnace ones, those are actual flickering bulbs. And sometimes flickering can cause some weirdness in power draws too because it's pulsating, and so you can get some spikes. But that's awesome. It all works. It's running off of battery power just fine. Let's close this back up. That is working well, and especially once both of them are on there, they're on there pretty good. But yeah, definitely gonna print more Jawas for up here, and I might, see if I can sneak a couple in there with some tweezers in the main cavity just to do it, just to print a bunch, and maybe get some more that can be on the ground besides the guys on the ladders. I can have some on the ground. But I'm gonna say she is done finally. I got to do a flat clear, but I am happy with that. So I'm gonna go set her up outside, and we'll do a full on once around reveal. All right, everyone, there she is, all finished, looking good. See inside the little door opening in there. See some droids and some Jawas in the background. Actually, you can see out through the other side. Everything came out good. And there's the Jawas on the ladder. The droid sucker upper. I got this piled. I think this came with this. So you can have piles of garbage in certain areas. So I got to paint that up so I can set at least around alongside it and do some more of these moisture evaporators. Yeah, she came out good. And we can see that escape pod back there. which I know is canon because I saw it on, I think it was Star Wars Rebels. It's on the conveyor belt on the inside. Well, this came out good. It's a very nice model. You can see some of the metallic piping, but it's gotten definitely darkened down. The engine area looks great. Winches there. Top engine parts are looking good. Take a peek on this side. And I did do some Tamiya sand back here and up on the ceiling, up on the roof, which I might do a dab a little more before I pull it clear. That way it looks like sand dust landed on top up here. But no, I can't be any more happier with that. See, you can see some Jawas in the windows here. Yeah. Let's see if I can get it to focus. There you are. And you see Chopper's head. I see the mouse droid way back there. You see the consoles lit. There's the other Jawa driver. Nice. You even pop this off. I just forget how. There we go. Gotta kind of slide it the one way. There is the inside. Definitely need more Jawas up there though. Needs more people, more Jawas to control this ship or vehicle, should I say? And here's the other side. Let's see what we can see through this opening. Here's that droid. Can we get a focus here? Probably not because there's not enough light. Oh, let's kind of see the Gonk droid way back there. Yeah, it's doing its light mode, so it's hard for it to focus. No. And of course, we have the light down there. But a very nice model. Like I said, it's definitely a long one in the making. This is the first vehicle or anything big like this that I printed. Mostly it was just starting off printing kids' toys. So very happy how it came out. But I think we're off to do the next model kit. It's probably something simple because it is getting around Christmas season, so I'm printing and making a lot of things for friends and family. Oh, and we got to show the inside here. Down inside, that's like the best part. Sorry about my arm here. There we go. We got our crane hook here, which I can pull and lower. This has enough little friction that I can raise and lower that string. What I did is did a lot of winds on here and then glued it. And then I did a lot of winds on here, but it had enough friction there that I can keep it steady. Another thing I did is I made some like girders kind of things going on this conveyor belt here, which are actually just 3D printed supports. The supports from a 3D print that kind of has that girder, look to it. There, and then I went and just painted them red. It's hard to tell with that lighting, but yeah. So added more junk that they collected. Our furnaces are going. All our ceiling lights. Now I noticed the LED strips are dimming. So there's probably too much draw for those. And it might be just the batteries I have are just garbage, plus they don't have a lot of milliamps, amp hours. And when I get, I'm going to get rechargeables, but you can get rechargeables at pretty high um, milliamp hours. Yeah, that cream looks good. Even put a couple little scrapes in the highlights, almost like a dry brush. Good, but let's see if I can cut down on some lights in the other areas. It might give us. Let's see if we kill that, and that. Let's see if it gives us a little more. There it goes. See, now you can see R5 back there in the silver droid. There we go. Yeah, now the work lights are starting to light up a little better. But we'll figure that out. That's an easy thing. I got a big battery compartment to deal with that. But very nice. I'm very happy. Close this. Oh. But there she is. Well, like I said, we're gonna probably start on something simple for the next holiday seasons here, as I have a lot of other projects I got to get done for the holidays. But until then, thanks for watching, and see you then.